Sometimes those who have no academic focus accuse those who do of having no common sense. It's not a fair accusation, as everybody has common sense. But sometimes skeptics allow the process, for the sake of the process, to overcome what is obvious, even to those with no special training. Being overly suspicious of sense experience is a problem. Yes, sometimes there's exceptions and sense can lie to us, but we can't turn around and say, sense lies to us sometimes, therefore we can never be certain, and then make some kind of leap to relativism and nothingness because certainty somehow requires some kind of fake perfection that never existed, that never will exist. I can hear philosophers who do this insisting on themselves because their standards are somehow more stringent than others. They insist if you can't know everything, then you can't know anything. They throw out the entirety of probability and degrees of knowing for what? A fake perfection, which is actually an insistence on their individual superiority projected outward in an unjustified manner, and going against what is obvious to the senses as a general rule. There's other means of verification outside of an individual's isolated perceptual and conceptual experience and capability. There's intersubjectivity. We can confirm each other's observations. There's the fact that we all come from common ancestors. There's measuring equipment to scientifically evaluate what is observed, as well as underlying events that can't be observed. What? We perceive the measuring equipment too, so it can't be trusted? We have houses, planes, cars, cell phones, satellites, computers. All evidence of the success of intersubjectivity and scientific evidence. Anybody who's insisting on radical skepticism with all this evidence is in fact a religious person living a fantasy and destructively insisting their higher standard of perfection hasn't been met, even though it's not even real, and pushing everybody else into an existential abyss and relativism for no reason. Even the boogeyman knows it's ridiculous. Don't do it. You can trust your senses for all intents and purposes, and verification through intersubjectivity is often enough. Let's talk about the given. The given in philosophy often refers to the fundamental immediate data of experience that cannot further be reduced or analyzed. It's the basis from which all knowledge and understanding is derived. This notion has been central to various philosophical traditions, particularly empiricism and foundationalism. This guy's a foundationalist. Key points about the given. Direct experience. The given is typically associated with immediate sensory perception, such as seeing, hearing, touching, tasting, and smelling. Unmediated. It's assumed to be presented directly to the mind without any intervening mental processes or interpretations. Foundation of knowledge. The given is often seen as the foundation upon which other knowledge is built. Myth of the given. In recent philosophical discussions, the idea of the given has been challenged, with some philosophers arguing that it's a myth or a misconception. This is because it's difficult to identify anything that is truly given without involving some level of interpretation or conceptualization. Philosophers who have discussed the given. Empiricists. Philosophers like John Locke and George Berkeley emphasize the role of sensory experience as the source of all knowledge. Foundationalists. Foundationalists argue that knowledge is based on a secure foundation of basic beliefs or propositions, which are often considered to be given. Wilfrid Sellars. Sellars famously criticized the notion of the given, arguing that it's a myth that ignores the complex cognitive processes involved in perception and understanding. Let's talk a second generally about the given being a myth. Yes, of course, the mind constructs a view of reality. For instance, color perception, taste, the way sound presents itself to the mind, the notion of feeling or something being hot. But there's the given out there. Color perception is based on light waves reflecting off materials in the environment. The light waves have different wavelengths, so the mind indicates color. The environment, as far as we know, isn't colored. Maybe it is in some way, we just don't have any way of knowing, as far as I know. But that doesn't mean that the environment only exists because I created the notion of color in my mind. So the argument that there's a concept involved in our perception doesn't even preclude the notion of the given or an objective reality. We just have to sort it out, and we do. That's how we survive. I don't see a tiger and think, oh, that might be a trick of perception. I run. Your survival is contingent upon you understanding what is likely the case. What is likely the case can be verified by those around you with almost the exact perceptual apparatus you have. We can use equipment to verify what is observed, and we can build a knowledge base. This knowledge might not meet some standard of a fake perfection, but what is that anyway? If something doesn't meet a plan in every aspect, that's just reality. Some do better, some do worse, but an ideal is just an intellectual construct. Chaos is part of our reality. Radical skeptics, you're making us look bad. The given is a given, let it be. Perfection is fake. It's you insisting on yourself. Get over it. Be skeptical, of course, but also practical. Join the rest of us in a journey of productive evolution. If you like this kind of philosophical subject matter, help us out by liking the video and subscribing to the channel.